morning, good people. Well, it's good afternoon. How are you? I missed you. I'm literally in your face. How are you all? I know it's been a little while. Tabitha, great to have you back. Where is everybody? Well, if we're meeting for the first time, wherever you are, I'm Gladys. I love cake. And over here, we make simple, informative tutorials to help you navigate baking and decorating easily. I had a short break. Oh, God. Oh. Can we talk about it? We'll get to it in a minute. It's my first day back, okay? So things are going to be a little bit slow. But instead of coming back, picking up my tasks and just overwhelming you and ignoring you to the side, we're not doing anything heavy. We're doing bits of everything. I have some cake prep to do for baking over the weekend. I'll be taking you along the process in the course of the week. So today we're doing that. Basically, I'm lining baking tins. I'll be talking to you about my baking tins and the habits and why I do what I do, just to give you some bits of information. Behind me also, I have some focaccia dough that I have prepped that I'll be baking for family. So I'm going to prep that in a moment. And then what else are we going to do? Well, you and I are just going to chit chat and catch up a little bit because it's been a while and I missed you. By the way, if you're just joining in, let's know where you're joining us from, what you've been up to. Delaney is back, darling. Delaney, how are you, my lovely? I hope you're keeping well. Are you on a break? For the rest of you who are just in the chat, hello there. Welcome back. Great to have you. Let us know where you're joining us from. Tabitha from Oregon will keep you. Tabitha from Oregon will keep you engaged. My dear Tabitha just said, you sound like me. The month of June has taken a long walk off a short pier. You couldn't have said it better. Look, my June is feeling a little bit like, can you tell I am extremely tired? Like, I am exhausted. I have burnout, emotional burnout, okay? I crash out a lot. So last week I just crashed out. I couldn't. Some days, fun facts and a bit of honesty. Some days, right, when I show up here, it's like I would have had to push everything to the side over there, okay, just to come here. Remember, you and I have had a conversation. I told you, I am never going to come and bother you with my problems in my life because you know what? You come here to see me have fun with you. And actually, I guard this space as a very, very safe space because you've got to have something to be joyful about. And I kid you not when I say this space is very, very safe for me to kind of maintain a sense of distance between my reality and what we do here, because you know what, we are multifaceted people and two things can be true, okay? I can be an absolutely skilled baker, I can be so entertaining, and yet still life will be lifing at me. But what I try not to do, and it's by choice, because can you imagine if you walk out of your bed and you thought, I'm going to go catch up with Gladys and have a bit of fun, and then suddenly Gladys is being a drag. I mean, no offense to anybody, but there's a time and a place, and as our community grow and we become connected the more, maybe we might have certain conversations, but in the meantime it's like, look, let's just try and safeguard this space strongly for well-being so that we can all come home, okay, detached. The reason why we switch on our Netflix some days is like, let's just disappear from the world of chaos. Except last week, I just couldn't do it. Last week, I was like, look, girls, I need a break, okay? So I was laying on my sofa a lot. Was I praying? No, you know what? I did have the heart posture of wanting to pray. I just didn't feel like it. And fun fact, that's what sometimes prayer looks like. You know, when a Christian tells you, go and pray, okay? Go and pray. It doesn't look like you're in your house calling down the Holy Spirit or Bible thumping. Okay, sometimes prayer is like, God, can you see me? People, can you wish my friend Nick happy birthday? Nick, is it Nick girl? Nick what? It's Nick, or did I miss something? Happy birthday, Nick. Happy birthday. Great to have you here. Is it time, what's the name? Time. Let me just say time, okay? I'm lost. So yes, if you're just joining me, 13 people in the stream, thank you for being here. Can I just ask you a favor, people? Can I just ask you a favor whilst you're here? Take some time to like the video. It's an interaction with YouTube to let you know we are here and you had a great time. That is if you are, and if you're having fun with us. So you know what? I promise you it's going to be a slow day over here, but we are still going to talk cake. Okay? I have tambourines. Okay, I just came back from church. Now, let me go boil my kettle because I haven't had tea at all. And for all of you in the chat, oh, Lollipop is here. Lollipop, my love. How are you? Yeah. We wish Nick... Delaney says, yesterday I basically slept all day. I only got out of the house once and then slept most of the day yesterday, and I'm still tired. Look, Delaney, for all the stuff you do, if you need a break, go and have it. Okay, listen to your body, take a break, sleep when you feel like. This whole business of running around trying to chase the world, okay, please have a rest. I've had a rest and I've just come back. Can you see the skin is glowing? Oh God. Look, Lollipop, it's hot. Yesterday, for those of you outside of the UK, right? Can we talk about the UK weather for a minute? For most of the time, it's cold in the UK. The weather is very inconsistent. And then the very short 3 days that it is warm, we all want to melt under this heat. We do. It is so hot. Yesterday, I was like, is that me? I was sweaty. I was tacky. I wasn't feeling it. I am just glad the weather is better today. Okay, I am just glad. It's great to be back. But yes, where are you all joining us from? Vivi is joining us from Mexico. Vivi, great to have you, and greetings to you. What's your time difference over there? Is it evening? Are you like sat there chilling now? Like, what's up, darling? Okay, great to have you though. And yesterday was unbearable, Lollipop. Tell them about the weather. So I did say, okay, look, do I have a cup of tea? Yeah, I think I can make myself a cup of tea. Let's make a cup of tea, okay? It's afternoon in the UK. It's afternoon, but I can still have a cup of tea, okay? And if you're joining me for the first time, besides wanting to make a cake, I love tea, okay? So I'm just trying to make myself a cup of tea whilst we are in the stream, okay? And yeah. If you're just joining us, tell us where you're joining us from. And what have you been up to? I missed you last week. Yes, I was lying on my sofa, minding my own business. But Matthew, darling, Matthew, great to have you back. How are you? How are you? I missed you all. Look, I thought if I could wing it, I would have been here last week. But I just couldn't. I didn't have the strength. I didn't have it in me. I was like, people... Life was lifing, okay? Plus, I went to we went for my sister's birthday celebration. Did you people see the handbag cake that I made? Okay? It was an absolutely smashing celebration for her birthday. We had such a good time. But I think between all of that goings, okay, look, people, I'm old now. Can we talk about being old and having to party less? Because you know what, I was never one to want to go out a lot anyway, but I find going out exciting to the point where I can get myself all dolled up, okay? But once I get dolled up, an hour into the fun, and I'm like, can we all go home and lay on the sofa and watch Netflix, please. Okay, I want to come home. I want a cup of tea. I want a hot water bottle if the weather is cold. I want some fluffy beddings. Like, I want to feel like, is there something wrong with me? Can we talk about that? Oh Lordy. Here I am telling you all about me. All right, okay, for those of you joining us from other places, let us know where you are and what you're doing. Okay, right, I just made my cup of tea, so cheers. But anyway, whilst we're still having the conversation about partying less when you're old, I told you I have focaccia. Look, I made some focaccia dough here. Look. Ooh, my focaccia. It is focacciaing. Right. Look, I am not a bread baker at all. I don't know how to bake bread. It's not my ministry. I don't even pretend I can do it. But there's a simplistic recipe that I found on our TT friend over here. You know what TT is? TikTok. I found it on TikTok, and I have tried it a few times and it works. So I'll be putting it, I'll put the details in the description. I think it's 500 grams of butter with about 460 grams mils of water, 8 grams of yeast, a pinch of salt, 10 to 15 mils of olive oil, and I think that's all we've got. So I am going to, this is just olive oil. I'm just adding more, and then we will proof it a bit more before I come back to bake it. My people love focaccia, like especially when I make a focaccia pizza, sort of style pizza. So focaccia as in the bread, but they love it as when I make it into a pizza. So we are just trying to spread that a little bit. Bell pepper and lamb pizza. I have bell peppers, but I don't think my son will like it much. Actually, saying that, I can divide the dough. So let me just proof it. Let me just spread it a bit and then proof it for another hour whilst we're on. And then maybe I have some sausages and bell pepper. So my son doesn't like peppers. If I put peppers in, he might not eat. And I just want this to be dinner for the family. So let's see. Matthew, how is YouTube coming along for you? Any milestones you want to share with us? We are interested in your success, you know. People, look. Anyway, now, hello. Can I tell you? Have you seen the last video though? Can we talk about the last video before we get to what we need to do? Can we talk about the last video that's been out? Have you seen it? Have you seen it, people? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's our it's not the live, like we're talking long form content. Okay, I made my last video. I said my most recent video, I think, let me just get that right. My most recent video. Who has seen it, please? Let's talk about it. I saw, Tapeta, I saw all of you commented. Look, we've been having a chat over there. I know, I responded to your comment. Yeah, Tapeta throwing shade at me about how those of you who use, whatever, those of you who use caps, you take it apart. Tapeta, why, like, let me not anger all American people, okay? Hello, Thelma. Who remembers Thelma in the chat? Who remembers Thelma? Thelma from India, darling. Thelma, it's been forever. Where have you been? This is how much olive oil I've thrown on the focaccia. Thelma, where have you been? It's great to have you. Look at me. playing with the focaccia. No, I'm not playing with it. I'm just trying to spread it. But the olive oil is a bit much, isn't it? What have I done? My dear, Tapeta, I think if you're in 2025 still using cups, I'm side-eyeing you. Why can't you just switch to the metric system? I mean, I know you don't want to be colonized, but that is not a debate anymore. You left us and we're good with that. Just join the wise people's club. Why are we over here with clanging cups that are not even right? Why? American people, don't come for me, okay? The cake was still good though. The cake was still good. But anyway, whilst we're at it, people, I am going to be making, do you want to see it? I'm going to be shooting another video on the subject of With Love Megan. Shall we? Shall we do it? What do you think? Tabitha says, girl, I'm side-eyeing you back. I have a skill, but I'm not sure I'm using it proper. Cups and spoons are my friend. Tabitha, I just kicked you out of the Wise People's Club. What kind of nonsense is that? Anyway, you know what? What am I looking for? I know I'm looking for something. Okay. This is what I'm looking for. I am just covering this over and then leave it on the side to proof. Actually, no, it won't proof over there. Let me put it in the oven. And then make sure that, yeah, just make sure it's a little warm. Now we have that focaccia. Look at my hands. Okay. Right. We are back to Chaosville, right? Oh. Before we get to it, I will get you the cake from With Love Megan that I made, okay? Actually, whilst you were there, let me just go and get the cake back. Here. Because in all fairness, I want you guys to be a part of this cake experience. Okay? Look at that cake. Okay? But whatever you say, we are not going to be eating cake. I haven't even had breakfast. Okay? I haven't. We are not going to be eating a cake. But can you see how delicious this cake looks? Can you see? Let me just, oh, this cake is amazing, okay? It's, for those of you who have a lot to say, I think I am included. Those of us who have a lot to say, I think I'm in love with the cake, okay? I'll tell you this though. You know what? Viv, okay, let's see what's happened in the chat today. I am not missing. Oh my God, Thelma. You have a lot to deal with, honey. How are you? How is the family and how is your sister though? I'm so sorry to hear, right? Oh, this is heavy. I'm so sorry. Wow. Well, if you don't know what we're talking about, the chat is popping, okay? Because over here we talk to each other and sometimes we share our problems a little bit. So Thelma has some real serious family issues going on. And yeah, a little bit of support for her will be great. There's nothing we can do from here, but actually I take that back. What we can do is pour into her spirit, fill her cup, and encourage her. Because trying to help a family member in a sticky situation such as abuse can be really, really difficult to navigate. So Thelma, we are sending you so much hugs. We are praying for you, and may this be well with you and your family, okay? That said, today is therapy and cake with Gladys. My dear, is it? Shall I grab a seat? Okay. 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 Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Right. Let's see. Right. Okay. This was not the intention, but Tapeta, you are always inviting me to therapy. Now, what do you want to talk about, honey? Because I was just coming to sort my tins out. I have a princess themed cake for the weekend, and a gardening and fishing themed cake for a customer later in the week. So I wanted to bring you along some of those, whether it's the princess or the gardening. I think it will be more the princess, because that will be easier to sort out on a live, if you like. And yeah, the baking starts tomorrow. So after today's live, I was going to go and get organized, and then we'll come back to a strong baking session tomorrow. My hope, though, was for us to kind of line the tins first, because those are also tasks that needs completing. And then after lining the tins, obviously with the focaccia going, we're not baking the focaccia, by the way. I'm just warming the oven a little bit, just so that it can proof the dough whilst it's in. And yeah, we'll keep it going. So that was what I was aiming for. But when I show up here, I never know what problems you have and what input you need. And turns out Thelma has some really... We haven't had Thelma here for a little while now. And turns out Thelma has a sister in a very tricky situation. And Thelma has to travel back and forth to assist her sister. So, yes. So... that subject hurts my heart. It is heavy. We hope Thelma is okay. Thelma, what can we do for you? And if you didn't know about cake and therapy, it is a moment where we try to just hold space for each one of you. It could be you, it could be me, except I just took mine to the left and I slept on the sofa. I needed rest. Here I am. So if you need a bit of hand holding, a bit of just moral support, look, we are not expert here, but we are human beings, okay? We have like life in, and we have empathy for every person. We listen, we don't judge. So if you have any thing that you need help with, just let us know and we can hold space for you over here. Thelma says she doesn't need anything except prayers to chuck him out of our house. Oh, dear God, can you just make your way to India and locate this young lady and send this man out of the house ASAP? Sincere prayer, okay? Lord, we come to you in humility and we lift this family before you, that whatever they need, Lord, make provision. That's all, okay? For the... right? So, Thelma, we are holding you in prayer and we stand with you and we hope it goes well. But, yeah. That is just my face to say I am happy to be back, okay? I am just happy. By the way, okay, Tapeta is sharing a prayer with us. Tapeta says, "Please, God, please cover Thelma and her family in your loving arms and help them overcome this in Jesus' name." And let's all say amen. Tapeta, thank you for the prayer. Lollipop, you're happy I'm back. I am happy to be back. Like, I literally want to hug you. I literally want to hug you. The most recent video, right? Milas, great to have you. Welcome to the stream. If you're not Christian, it's not a problem. We don't judge, okay? We don't, listen, we are not trying to convert you. Actually, we hope you will see Christ and convert, but we're not. We can, you know what? We can hold community. We don't care what you believe in. I'm Christian. I pray, okay? But if you're not Christian and you can't relate, don't worry. There's more fun to be had. We can have cake, okay? We can talk about life. Don't feel awkward, okay? Come have a cup of tea with us. You're welcome. Come sit with us. Yes, I was. Tapeta is saying, once upon a time, Gladys, once upon a time ago, you were a caretaker for elderly in their homes, right? Yes. At some point, I was. Yes. Why do you ask Tapeta? Do I come across as an old lady's friend? Right? Let's have a cup of tea. So yeah, don't feel awkward at all. And whilst you're there, please like the video. We are just we're not cutting. We're just catching up, okay, people? Oh, Tapeta says, oh, she was too. So was I. I quit last week. The stress relief I felt since then. My God, how the hell did we do that? Tapeta, come here. Darling, how are you? Are you feeling less stressed? Do you feel at peace? Like, what's the emotion at the moment? Because it's okay when you give them the peace sign and be like, kiss of goodbye, and you're gone. But how are you feeling when it all settles? I mean, it might probably bring your peace back. You might be in Zen mode, but is the money? And that is not to say, let me just clarify that. That is not to say when you are under extreme stress, you should stick with a job. No. Some days you need to walk it, okay? Say goodbye, figure it out, and find your way. Trust me, I know, right? But how are you feeling? You quit last week. No wonder you said June has taken a walk off the short pier. Is it? Well, congratulations on being brave. Is it? I don't know, right? Want to chat about it? I know you can't get specific. That's fine. Tell us what you can tell us. Tapeta is saying it was a lot of stress. A lot less stress now because she doesn't have the job, but she still has plenty of anger. Honey, I am so sorry for your experience. What makes you angry about it? Because apparently looking after people is noble, isn't it? Okay. Well, you called cake and therapy, Tapeta. So I'm sat here. I'm all yours. Yeah, I've got you. Okay, Tapeta. Hear me when I say I've got you here. So people, let's all get in and catch up with Tapeta over here. Tapeta, come talk to us. What's up, darling? Okay, because just because you are doing the right thing, looking after people and doing all of these things doesn't mean that you don't have stress in your life. And if you have to quit a job because the job wasn't given, then that's okay. But Tapeta, come tell us. Tapeta. Yes, I remember the story of you on the freeway, right? Okay, let me just get this out of the way and then we'll see. So Tapeta is saying, remember when I told you that hubby and I almost died traveling along the freeway and my client's tire blew in her car? So I luckily got us off the road safely. Yes, I remember that conversation a couple of weeks ago on the live where I didn't catch up on much of the accident, but I did get bits of information about an accident that happened. Yes, we remember. What happened since then, Tapeta? Right, there we are. Okay, and then I have a 6-inch one. Okay, so yeah, so Tabitha was involved in a work-related accident, like as in she was traveling with her husband on a freeway in America, and the car tire went off. So she managed to get them to safety, okay? And then she said, I tried to get a hold of the client. Let me just get myself into screen properly. My kitchen is small, people. So she said, I tried to get hold of the client whilst it happened, and it was not, not available. And then called her family member the next day, and he tried to get the car home. And then I tried to use my car insurance to get the car home. Okay, so basically, Tabitha is on the freeway in a client's car. The tire goes off. She manages to get the car to safety, and then tries to get in touch with the client. Couldn't reach them. So she got a family member of the client who helps to get the car home. But Tabitha uses her car insurance to try and get the car home, but it didn't work. So then she tried AAA, but without the owner of the vehicle, they won't do anything. Okay, keep in mind, okay, so this client was away at the time all of this is going off. And then when you finally get in touch with this client, they say they would rather the car is impounded. Okay. Oh. Oh no. So you're involved in an accident, sort of, in a client's car, and whilst you're trying to engage the client to get help to get the car safely, she wants the car impounded, which you comply, and yet she turns around and blames you for being the reason. Okay, Tabitha, do you feel like you made the right decision for yourself by quitting? So the client then calls to ask that, calls on Friday, okay, so last Friday, and is annoyed at Tabitha that Tabitha's husband doesn't drive, and that she might have to hire Tabitha's mom to take them to go get the car. When she brought up mom and hubby, right, if you're just joining the stream and you're wondering what we're talking about, we are just trying to hold space for our very lovely, our own friend, Tabitha. Tabitha had some issues at work and she eventually quit. I mean, good for you, sis, right? But we're just trying to hold space for her because sometimes, like, these occurrences at work can be a little stressful. So that is what we're doing, just in case this is your first time joining the stream. I am Gladys. We make cakes over here, okay? But we also look after each other. So if you want to just look at cake making content straight up, no interruptions, look, I have long form videos where you will see the processes of cake making and interaction, just cake related, so you don't waste your time. But if you want to connect with us, get to know us a little better, the moderators in the chat, and to join the community so over here, so that this is a safe space for you to turn around and come to, just for safety, comfort, interaction. I mean, it's the internet at the end of the day, but I tell you what, we are wholly positive over here. So join us if you want to become a member. Subscribe, it's free. And click your notification buttons so that anytime we're on, YouTube will inform you so that you can come and sit with us. We will drink tea. Cheers. We'll drink tea. We will yap a lot. Have you noted? I yap a lot, but good things, okay? We have a great time. So yes, stay with us. So Tabitha had this issue at work, and yeah, we are trying to help her kind of work through it a little bit. She had a difficult client, so she eventually quits. I mean, yeah, Lollipop, thank you for adding that in. You can watch the lives and fast forward, and you don't need to sit and listen to us, okay? So thank you for your patience here, but we are looking after our own today, Tabitha. Tabitha girl, I mean, yes, you enforced your boundary of no, I'm not putting up with verbal abuse. That's fair. How are you feeling after the chaos of something? You're like, okay, goodbye. How are you feeling today, right now? Okay. Tabitha said, I've quit other jobs for being abusively yelled at. I don't understand how people think that's okay. I don't think the people who do that think it's okay. Because thinking it's okay, the part where you know it's not okay, is reserved for when you are wholesome and in a good headspace. Sometimes people do things because they've lost control, they can't help it, or they have no other alternative of having an outburst. Now, let me be clear, I'm not validating abusive behavior. I am not supporting it. I am just giving you context so that you do not torture yourself about why somebody did something that is not a reflection of you or your values. Do you know what I mean? Because when you start thinking, oh, why do they think it's okay? We don't know what they think. We just know they did something, okay? So perhaps unless we sit with them and understand their point of view, then yeah. But sometimes you do not need to give anybody a benefit of a doubt, especially when they've crossed the boundary with you. So if somebody has shouted at you at work or yelled at you in an abusive manner, and you're like, no, this is where I draw the line, then yeah, good for you. But there is no need to kind of have a dialogue about what we believe, because that's an assumption. We don't know. Plus, Tabitha, just for your own, like, for the purposes of this conversation, if they're a client of yours, I'm sure you know they have issues, right? So in all honesty, sometimes the way people behave is a representative or a symptom of actually what is wrong with them, okay? And I don't mean that in a derogatory, in a demeaning way. I say that in a way to bring context and also value to the conversation, in that, you know what, when we are all in our best state of mind, okay, We are all acting sane. We are all acting normal. But a few times when we are in a rush or something has, look, you want to see how we are, the complexity of humanity, right? Now, this is me going off on an unrelated tangent. Have you seen a well put together mom, like a mother that, think about a mom that you see at work who may be your boss or your colleague, a mom, and I use the word a mom for context, so stick with me here. Have you ever seen somebody that is so put together and their life looks so organized, and you think they are living by the principles of the 10 Commandments? They do right, they love God, their life is wholesome. Have you seen them on a morning when they're trying to get 3 kids together and the children are not behaving? I can tell you. The veneer or the put togetherness will come off so quickly when you're running late for work and you have 3 kids who just think, one just thinks they want to have fun in the morning. Look, I've got the one, and my mornings are not as peaceful as you may seem here, right? So I say that to say sometimes the point where people lose it and do the thing they are not supposed to do, it's not set in them trying to essentially hurt you, or no, it's they have something they can't control or handle, and unfortunately you are in the position to be the punching bag for it. Okay, but that's nothing to do with you. And if you had to just quit the job and say goodbye, adios, then good for you, Tabitha. Okay, but in the general context, let's see what Tabitha is saying here. Tabitha feels good on the first Tuesday. Okay, today feels good. It's the first Tuesday I've woke up a month and didn't have to think, oh God, I have to. I mean, at the point where you wake up and be like, God, I have to go to this place, that's the point you might probably consider quitting anyway. Okay, you don't need to have the layer of abuse to quit. If you ever woke up and felt like, God, I dread going to this place, maybe you need to quit. But good for you, darling. Good for you. Good for you for not putting up with that. And people have no idea what support workers put up with, you know. People have no idea. You will only ever hear one side of that story. But good for you, Tabitha. Good for you for not putting up with it. How is this likely to affect you finding another job, though? I hope it doesn't, though. If you wonder what I'm doing here, I am cutting strips to line my baking tin. Okay? Because we need to line our tins. Right. So Tabitha says the reason why she continued to do the job was because she felt bad for the client, because their husband unalived themselves back 12 years ago. And I mean, Tabitha, you don't need to you don't need to kind of like, if you quit, you quit, to be honest, because especially for people like us who like to give a lot of ourselves, a job of caring for somebody takes an emotional toll on you, the caregiver, whether it's in professional capacity or personal capacity. I think generally the concept of caregiving in a professional capacity is generally generally underrated. And I mean underrated in the part where, because you are in a professional environment discharging care to an individual, this sort of relationship you have is bordered by regulations. And so it takes away, to a very large extent, some aspects of you as the caregiver. For instance, if you care about your client, you cannot express it in a non-professional way, yet you are administering care in a very, very empathetic, personal caregiving way, and that takes a lot out of you, the caregiver, even in a professional setting where money can never compensate the value of care you are giving. I say that from experience. I have sat with clients on a day when I was supposed to be having my day off, okay? But I gave up that day off. This is not complaining. This is bringing context and value to the conversation. I have given up a day off to sit with a client when they needed me most. I have had to go to A&E, which is the equivalent of ER for my American audience, and my closing time has overrun, and I have sat with the client all day at a hospital where they couldn't dispatch a family member to come and take over from me soon after. And by the end of the day, I am exhausted. And where my shift is nearly over and I have to almost make a decision to go home, you have to make a decision between yourself and humanity. And you're looking at this client and looking at the helpless situation they are in. And then you do the good thing, which is, you know what, I'll stay here overnight with them, where you are not compensated any extra for staying overnight. And in fact, in some extreme cases, the company has refused to pay me exactly my due. Right? Have I complained? No. Because I operate on the belief system, you will always get back what you put in. But it doesn't take away the fact that you really do lose a lot in that moment of giving care to a client. So I think the feeling rubs differently when the client then begins to feel so entitled that they begin to take advantage of you by unnecessarily and definitely uncalled for start abusing you. The sad part of a client abuse towards a working professional discharging care to them is that it's only ever going to go one way. They are protected by laws and regulations that they almost get away with such behavior. And companies are not almost quick to acknowledge that that relationship of abuse then can be very detrimental to the worker, right? They are quick to replace you when you make a complaint. They are quick to let you go. And they are quick to suppress your voice because they would rather keep the client and get their money and employ the next best person to do the job, which inherently perpetuates the abuse towards workers. So it is an unhealthy dynamic and a very toxic environment. And if you have to quit, good for you. Good for you. Emma is here. Emma, welcome to the chat. Is it your first time being here? I tend to recognize new faces, right? So if you're new here, great to have you. Tell us where you are joining us from, and let's kind of get into this. Emma says, I've been struggling at work as well for years now, and when eventually I took the decision to leave, they laid me off themselves due to expenses control. Oh my goodness. Emma, I am so sorry to hear that. How are you, and how are you coping with that? Because you know what? Whilst we may all still be in the chat discussing and validating each other about the choices we make, losing one's job can be goal shifting a little bit. It can shift your goals. It can have financial impact on you. So yes, in the immediate time, whilst quitting or being fired might just feel like the relief, the next few days after can feel very difficult. And it's important to hold space for those moments so that whilst you are getting rest, you can still check in with yourself about where you are in that moment, and then have the hope to know that it will get better. And Emma, I hope your things are looking up for you. How long ago was this, Emma? Tabitha said, when my mom worked for this woman, she would make up stuff about my mom just because, just so that she could call and get mom written up, because she thought that she needed to do. Wow. You know what? Can we talk about how toxic some of these clients in care can be? Okay. I try to hold, look, we are safe here, okay, but we are truth tellers. Let's be clear. Some of these clients in care can be extremely toxic, so toxic that their own family members don't even care about them. And yet we have to, or people who discharge care in a professional level have to put up with that. Look, I have stories that if I began to speak, okay, let's just leave that, okay? So I say that to say, people, I am so sorry for you, Tabitha. I am so sorry. You have no idea. Lollipop. This whole thing. Oh, Emma, so this just happened. Okay. Look at me calling you Emma. I see Emmy. Is it Emmy T? Okay. Okay. Emmy says, it was today, so I am still in relief phase. I'm confident I will stay aware of how I feel and think about this in the next day. Thank you so much. You're welcome, darling. Hugs to you. Yeah. You know what? Being fired was not in your hands. I mean, if you quit, that would have been your choice. As in, whatever your reason is, you feel like you have a bit more control. But also being fired feels like, whilst it may feel like, oh, I didn't have the control, hopefully you are at peace with it, especially if it was causing you much stress. The important thing is that when these things happen, and I speak from experience, I have quit jobs, okay? I have been so dramatic in quitting my jobs. You have no idea, okay? I had a job that I literally, yeah, I've quit jobs, okay? Now, can I tell you, in the moment that I quit, did I have all my ducks in a row? No. As humans, some days, by the time you get to a point where you can quit on a job, you have known for a long time that that job wasn't serving you for good reason. Either the job was adding to your stress level, the job was making things more difficult for you. But the significant thing to note here is that a job is tied to our livelihoods. And not just that, a job presents us with different values to ourselves. You know, people tend to identify their person via their job. So a job is not just about waking up, going somewhere and getting paid. The means, or what a job means to a person, can be larger in the context of what one's career and the everyday routine around it looks like. So for that, sometimes even when you come to the point where you feel like this is not serving me, for various reasons, such as feeling fearful, feeling uncertain, being addicted to routine, wanting to maintain the routine, all the reasons one can have would just keep you in the same feedback loop. Get up, get ready, go, face your annoying boss, your overbearing colleagues, and all of these things, okay? And then eventually when that builds up and then a confrontation happens, you're like, I'm out of here, okay? And you're gone. And sometimes that can feel very impulsive, and I have felt it. But when you walk out of it, do yourself a favor, take some time out. Even when you're feeling like you have to run out and go and get the next job, okay? Because sometimes after the feeling settles and you realize, my next month's rent is not ready, you run out of the door and you're looking for the next job. It's important to kind of check in with yourself, okay? Because you know what is true. if you make peace with your worst fear, which is that, oh, if I don't pay my rent, I'll get chucked out. If you make peace with that resolution, anything else in between is okay for you to resolve. So what you find out that instead of going to get a new job, you might just want to take the next week off whilst you're worried about getting a new job. You're like, look, let me just sit here with myself a little bit. And then with that, you can just process what you've been through, because going to a job every day for the next 10, 15 years is a long time, you know, and it's an investment of one's lifetime. I say that from experience. Oh Lord, how far I've come. But I might have to get a job too. Let's see. Tatiana is back. Tatiana, great to have you. Oh, you know what? We weren't thinking of cake and therapy, but look, this is it. I love this for us, don't we? Tatiana, great to have you back. Oh, Emmy, I'm glad to hear that for you. I am so happy for you to have the support of a loving partner and at least some provision to keep you grounded and like still for a minute. We're sending you hugs and prayers, and hopefully you find your feet and you get back to life, okay? Because you know what is true? Life will life, okay? You will get your dream job and then it will all fall apart and then you will wonder. But if you keep yourself grounded and you keep going, you know what? You will eventually get to where you're going. Surround yourself with a good support network, okay? Having that is important. People who ground you, that even in the midst of the crisis, you can see through the weeds. It's important, okay? Maybe amongst your group of friends, have somebody who actually sees you at your worst and understand you, and talk to them, let it out. And if you don't have that and you can afford a therapist, book one, okay? That will be helpful, because that will bring sort of clarity to your intention and help you kind of work through some choices, and then go have fun. I don't know what that is, but go have fun. It will eventually work out. Look at me say that. I am a sucker for certainty, and now I live in the most uncertain times. Believe me when I tell you. I used to, the idea of not having a job to go to just used to be scary for me, because I'm like, how? But here I am. You're going to be fine, people. You're going to be fine. Oh, Tatiana, I'm a boss, so I do my best to make sure all my employees feel heard. I always tell them my job is to set you up for success, because if you succeed, Tatiana, I need a chat with you, okay? I need your job, as in I need to work for you. Tatiana, thank you for keeping that heart posture. I really hope your employees feel valued, and for that, they are able to perform at their best and give you back value in whatever you're doing. Thank you so very much. It can be, Tatiana, is it a hard balance being a boss? Because here's my take on being a boss and also upholding that value system of trying to do right by your people. I have worked for different bosses at various times in my life when I had a traditional job. And here's the thing. I have always thought that professional decisions are not personal. So it's okay to not like my boss and the decisions they make. Okay? Because I don't sit in their seat. Say, if they have to make a decision about cutting down the working hours, taking away certain privileges, like for business reasons, and all the unsavory decisions that a manager or a CEO has to make, those are never going to feel good for the person down here, right? And that's okay. What I actually have always aimed for, though, is to respect my boss, you know? And I mean respect in the face of knowing that even though I may not always like their professional decisions, I have to respect the value from which they are operating. Especially if I can trust that despite their unfriendly decisions, they still care. And that is a very difficult balance to strike. But I had one boss who had that. She was a boss who on the outward looked like the boss you should. Before I came to know her, this is a nice story to tell. Before I came to know her as a person, she had a reputation for being very fierce. And I don't know where that came from, but she carried the aura of a fierce person. She looked fierce. She looked scary. If she looked your way, she looked like the very stern church mother. If she looked at you to the left, you had to disappear. And it was such an unusual aura that she had. And then when I got to know her, there was a mother in her. Like her spirit and her person was so mothering. So it warped my brain, because professionally she just looked like this fierce boss. She didn't say much, but she looks at you and you know you better act right over here. But then when I got to know her as a kind person, she will sit with me. We will have the most intense conversations. And she was so, so nice. But make no mistake, after having that intense conversation, she's not going to do you any favors over here. So you knew, like, her discipline, she just required like strong standards and discipline. And yeah, I was young, belligerent, and just wanted to have my way. I had some bad habits. And now looking back, I think she used to look at me and think, you could do better. Come on. You know, don't ruin it for yourself. And then I had another boss. Okay, we'll leave that one. We're not trying to make... Tapeta, you know that look, right? That look, that's like, girl, you better gather yourself quickly. Tatiana says, I kind of do both. I coach and I have about 25 employees under me. I set the standard respectfully and stick to my word. I have a straight face, but they know they can all come to me. Oh, Tatiana, thank you for sharing that. Oh, okay, so Tatiana, if I was your employee and I really had some crisis at home, and it's a crisis, here's the context. I don't want to bring it to work, so I haven't shared the scale of it, but I have given you the idea that I have problems at home. So the problem sort of impacts my attendance. At least once a week, I am off, like I'm calling in emergency sick, or I am calling in. There is something off about my attendance. What are you going to do about that? Are you just going to follow the policy to a T and be like, okay, you have X amount of work days? But then again, for context, I am a good worker. When I show up, I show up. Okay, I do my job right. Everybody loves me. But I have this thing that I haven't been able to unpack completely at work because I want to feel safe. So perhaps, you know, like I have, say, a family member over there who has a health condition. You don't know the extent of the health condition. So, but I am calling in late. Sometimes I'm showing up late. I'm canceling shifts. What are you going to do with that, Tatiana? Tatiana, I'd love to come to work and tell you, but some days, you know, when I've looked at the work culture, so like this is a hypothetical situation, but close to a similar situation I've had like in my work life. So hypothetically, I would love to come and talk to you, okay? I don't want to tell you stories, but I also fear that the work culture is very gossipy, and I can't trust that first of all, the information or the issue I am dealing with is very sensitive for me to want to divulge everything about it, right? But I want to be able to share enough, like I have a poorly family member or something at home, but I haven't discussed the real detail, the detail that will give you context that, oh, this must be a lot. So maybe let me give you grace. So because of the work culture, I feel unsafe to kind of literally work vomit at you. But on the flip side, this thing is so intense that it is causing me to be a bit inconsistent at work. What do you do? So, Tapita is adding to what I was saying. Tatiana, she's asking, Tapita is asking, Tatiana, how can you make workers feel like that? I've had issues with life and not being able to go to work, and had my boss understood the situation, I may not have been fired. Okay, so Tatiana is going, gotcha. Everything my employees are telling me is confidential. Tatiana, you know what? I think the concept of confidentiality is steeped in policy and regulation, and we get that. Most things discussed with managers has to be confidential, especially when it's private information. But we know that's not the reality. Like, a manager has had, the standard of being a manager is just so high that you have to be able to exercise discretion, be able to hold it together, and be able to sit with a lot in silence. And a good manager will do that extremely well. The problem is that if I used to work at a fast food company, I wouldn't name them. And the managers, the people that were labeled managers were half of the time 20-year-olds who love to gossip amongst each other. And yet they were my manager and I was required to go and speak to them. What do I do with that? Tapita said, for instance, I had only 2 work outfits, so I broke down. I was so broken down on luck, I couldn't afford to wash clothes. So I stopped going to work because I didn't had. Oh, oh, this got intense quickly. Tapita, this is intense. Wow. Yeah, so Tapita's case here is an example, Tatiana, because Tapita coming to tell you that she doesn't have the means to wash her clothes might be so embarrassing to her, she is not able to confront the issue by coming to tell you about it. If she told you, I'm sure you would understand, you apply humanity, be empathetic. But Tapita in her mind is like, no, I cannot tell my boss this. And yet Tapita is not showing up for work. Tapita says, Tatiana says she will, once I get, here's Tatiana's answer. I'll try and get an understanding of what is going on first. Once I get an understanding of what's going on, I would ask what you need first. And here you are. Probably see if you would need a leave of absence. Tatiana, you sound like a good boss over there, okay? I really, really hope the employees have a great manager in you, because you just sound so zen. 25 employees. Great to have you. Look, where is our focaccia? Let's look at our focaccia dough. Remember, we weren't making the dough. We went to prove it. Look at the focaccia. Wow, look. Now I'm tempted to go, shall we look at the bubbles? Shall I make it into a pizza? Or shall I just, now this is my inner contemplation coming through, people. Just take no notice of me, okay? It's focaccia dough. Right. Okay. People, let me just go and put this in the a warm place to continue proofing whilst I come back. But catch up in the chat. I'll be back shortly. Okay, so so Tatiana says there always has to be 50-50. So how can I help if I don't get the information? All I'm going to know is you are missing. It all comes down to your communication and relationship at the end of the day. That is true. That is so true. I had known you, if I had known you simply didn't have enough work clothes without telling me, you couldn't afford washing them, I would have provided you with extra depending on how many days you worked. Right. It's actually lovely. I think for the purposes of this conversation and for context, it is actually lovely to have a boss in the chat, because otherwise the conversation will be about a bunch of disgruntled employees just mouthing off their grievances with no balance and perspective to the conversation. So it is great to have Tatiana here, who is kind of holding the tension and also providing some context and value in terms of a boss's point of view. And whilst I don't think bosses are bad people, okay, except that not everyone is a good person in that position. And you know what? Sometimes being a leader requires a certain level of character building and personality and a strong value system, okay? Like, you have to be an extraordinarily good person to be able to exercise judgment and consequence whilst also maintaining or providing guidance and help and be still feeling safe. And the few managers who are able to do that are just like good people, good at what they do. But being a manager or holding a position and leadership are sometimes two different things. Sometimes people just want to go to the top so that they can have it over the people down here or feel better about themselves. And then character comes into question. So it is neither here nor there. But I'm glad we have Tatiana here, who prides herself as a good manager providing for her employees. Right? So Tatiana is saying, you know, you're doing a good job when your former staff, who doesn't know what they have, okay, you know, you're doing a good job when your former staff doesn't know what they have until it is gone. I have people I have let go, come back and visit other staff members and ask their job back. Oh, that is so lovely to know. Okay, will I ever go back to any of the jobs I've had? Come to think about it, that's a hard no. But it's no hard feelings though. I think over time, within my work life, my life changed and I changed as a person. Sometimes the jobs you have held in the past will have no relationship with the person you are now, you know. So yeah, no, yeah. But I actually fun fact, I actually have maintained a good relationship with the family of a former client. And that was such a unique situation. And I'm still like, the family still maintains some, we have not just just that sort of, oh, this cordial. No, we see each other at special times. We celebrate the client. The client is no longer with us, but I have maintained a relationship with the family. They've become an extension of my own life and mine, theirs, and we celebrate that. And that is kind of a very unique situation, because in other settings, I perceive I still would have kept my relations with the client's family, even if the client had passed, except the regulations and the rules would make it harder for you to kind of just stay with the client after you stayed with the client family after you've left the job. So in the past, when I've just left the job, I have had to close the page on my relationships with the client. And that's not a willing or like a painful decision because there was a grudge or anything. It's because the rules are the rules. I mean, if you leave the job, you can't then go back and maintain a relationship with the client when they are hoping to still access your provision of care to them. Okay, so for that reason, I've closed those relationships, and yeah, I wouldn't go back. But yeah, it is good. Well, Tabitha's chances have improved. She has a 24/6 access to a laundry and a trash company who collects the trash. How much better her being home truly is. Darling, we are so happy for you. We are so happy. Things are a million times better. And you know what? Life does change. It gets better. It gets better. Now, people, whilst we are talking about some heavy subjects, what are you all having? Are you having your cups of tea or coffee? Tatiana, what are you having, boss? Boss lady in the office. Are you having a drink? Tatiana, let me ask you a funny question. Does your employees know that you sneak out here and catch up with this bunch of random people? Like, do your employees know? Fancy meeting them here. I love your life, okay? Joining the mess over here and then going back to your life being a boss. Darling, thank you. Now, what are you people having? Now that we're talking about all that, do you want a drink? Make yourself a drink. Look, I've been sitting there yapping away and my drink is cold. But make yourself some coffee. Have a coffee. Have a drink. In the meantime, I wanted to tell you all about this cake, okay? I wanted to tell you about this With Love Megan cake that was so amazing and so good. But you know what? I made a video on it. Go catch the fun. After watching this, it's do me a favor, people. Do me a favor, go watch the video and leave your comments. Let's hear, because I'm looking to make a second version of this cake, but upgrade it, because her cake was good. I'll tell you no lies. It was good. But the olive oil, I'm like, why do we have olive oil? Why has it got to be olive oil? Can we have butter or something? Like, the olive oil flavor was a little bit intense and too strong for me though. Okay. But the sorry. But the cake, in terms of moisture and texture, look, this is my breakfast. Emmy, sometimes that's all you need. Water, okay? Water, that's all you need. Just have yourself, you know what? I'm trying to be disciplined. My blood sugar levels are not great, people. The amount of cake I've been eating out here has me in chokehold. So, I'm trying to be disciplined. So, about this cake, I'm not eating a big chunk. But please, people, go and try this cake for yourself and thank me later. This cake, it's like a coffee shop style cake, right? It's like the cake you get from your coffee shop, like the home baked cake that you get from your coffee shop. Whatever was done to this cake, for a very simplistic cake that doesn't take a lot. It takes the olive oil. The cake itself doesn't even have lemon in it. It has lemon zest, the zest of 3 lemons, right? So it's, call it your regular sponge cake. But the flavor that comes through the cake just takes it out of this world. Honestly, it's a good cake. I love cake over here. And I don't say it is good so that I can be a fangirl, okay? We have expressed some very strong feelings and strong thoughts about Meghan over here. Not Meghan herself, because we don't know the woman, okay? She married a prince. She's got money. We wish her well. But we have critical thinking skills here. When I watched the show, I had a lot to say about it. I won't repeat my thoughts. You can catch up on that on the live. But that wasn't throwing stones at her. That was just critically looking at the show and telling you my take on it. And the show is like, well, whatever connection she has in Netflix, it's strong and it's working. Because there is no way anybody is getting the sort of assumed amount of money for a basic show with a concept that is so flat. It's and this is not propaganda. I watched the show, right? It's boring, okay, but it's beautifully shot. It is nice. The views are amazing. She couldn't even hold an audience attention. If you watch the show, if you have Netflix, go watch it, okay? But if you watch the show, she couldn't even connect with the camera. She wouldn't look in the lens. She was talking. So imagine me being here, right? And I'm like, you, how are you over there? Can you see me? Look at the screen. Can you see where my eyes are? That was her on the show. She was talking to the crew a lot of the time when she had to address the audience, because the purpose of that show was to address us, like interact with us, tell us what she's doing. And half of the time she is like, she couldn't look at the camera. Now, I don't know her, so I'm not judging her character. As an actress who was used to the camera, it's like, what is missing? Is it that she didn't believe in what she was doing? Because if you believe in what you're saying and what you're doing, I should be able to talk to you, okay? And she couldn't do that. She was, a lot of the time, she was looking away. There was no connection between presenter or talent and audience at all. And every time she was talking to the supposed friend of the show, you can tell there's no connection. Look, people, we are separated by a screen. You could be a ghost from the depth of hell. I don't know you, but what I know is that we are over here talking about our work life and our experiences and encouraging each other. How did that happen? Because we have a connection across. So if I'm talking to you and I'm feeling anxious, you can feel it. And I'm watching the show and thinking, she probably is so anxious because she thinks the friend is going to say something or do. Go watch it. It's a weird show. We're not talking about anybody's belly and babies, okay? I want to leave that subject alone because I don't know. Emmy, go try this olive oil cake out. I'm sure you can get yourself some quality olive oil. Let me just say this. The subject of that moon bump, right? Here's my take, and this is solely my take. Feel free to take what you want out of it. I am not crazy to subscribe to the idea that somehow she faked the pregnancy. Now, let's stop for a minute. People have got to get off the train of the hate they feel about her You don't have to like a person to be honest about what you observe, okay? We don't know the woman. I certainly don't. So I have nothing to say about her personal person outside of what I am presented with in terms of the visual clips you see of her. We've seen her on video. We've seen her in press. But I'm not talking about the press as in what is reported by Daily Mail. I'm talking about press as in the places she goes and interacts with press for her own exposure and all of that. There's enough footage to go around and to tell a story about her, right? I cannot for the life of me understand how anybody would perceive that she would make up a pregnancy. Like, my brain cannot like fathom why that would be. Like, why would she? But here's the alternative thought. Celebrities are very aware of their value in terms of how their contact with an audience can influence their bank balance, okay? So for that, there is a lot of priming and prep work that goes into how they present. Do I think it's really far from... It is far from normal that she would want to enhance the appearance of the bump just for visual effect? It's not too far. Now, and the reason is simple. She wants the visual effect. She wants to look proper in the pregnancy. She wants to say, if you're followed by a team of photographers, she might want to be shot or captured in a way where she looks pregnant, because it is enhancing to her appearance, it's enhancing to her image, whatever that looks like. So do I think she was really pregnant? Yes, I actually do. The part where people are banging around the idea that she faked the pregnancy is just ridiculous and out of the realms of normality. Don't bring that to me. I don't want to hear it. However, do I really think she would go and enhance her belly so that it looks right? Yeah, why wouldn't she? People do that to act, so why wouldn't she? And if she did that, has it courted attention and controversy? Yes. Are her children her children? I believe so. Unless I am presented with actual evidence from her to say I didn't have those children. I don't know why we believe she didn't. So that's where I am with that. But like I said, I don't know her. If she ever did any of those things, as in she didn't make that, she must be a very sick individual. But I have no reason to believe she is that sick. Could she be so into herself as a person? Yeah, you must be so interested in yourself so much to just wander around the world talking about yourself a lot, right? But outside of that, she found fame and fortune with a lovely guy that perhaps loves her more than most people would ever imagine. It could be true. I don't know about their relationship except for what they are selling me. And what they are selling me is that they are a couple who are in love. And that makes me suspicious, because people who are in love just go around falling in love and doing loved up things. They don't try to sell me an image. So if you're selling me the image and you're constantly in my face, my critical thinking skills is like, is it even true what you're trying to sell me? And that is because I have to think about what I'm buying into. And that's it. But her cake is good. The program is boring. And I believe she had her babies and she's their mom. That's all. All those things can be true, because most people on the internet here just like to hate for no reason. Just join the bandwagon of hate and spew nonsense. And I really don't subscribe to that. I watch the program. At least the episodes I watch, extremely boring. The cake is good. She's a mom. She's a business person. She's living her best life as she wants us to believe. That's okay. Let's all move on and live our lives. That's all. Emmy, you see, sometimes the thing about people in the public eye is that people tend to project their own feelings to other things that may not exist. And I think she has become a classic example of people projecting on her. Do I think she is as angelic as she appears? I don't think so. That doesn't make her a bad person, okay? I just think the amount of ambition, you can't be that ambitious to achieve the things she has achieved, which is marry a prince, okay? You can't be that ambitious and be so sweet and cute. God, you have to stab a few people, or you have to stab a few people, stomp on some people to get to the top. And I'm not mad about a girl wanting all of that and owning it, okay? Am I that ambitious? I don't know. Maybe I'm the most ambitious baker over here. Unambitious, okay? But you have to stomp on people and you have to do some stabbing and keep it moving, okay? So, girl, I am proud of what she's achieved over there. But it doesn't work. It's just like, you can't be that damsel in distress to make it to that top. Especially a place that is so, like, complex. So, maybe she should own her ambition and be like, yeah, I have arrived. But the part where she's like, I'm a victim. Oh, and they were awful, but I still want to be a princess. I don't understand that. But that is just a small aspect of it. Otherwise, yeah, let her live her life. RD, you dropped in to say hello. Darling, we came back. We ate some cake. We had fun. We had some therapy. Where have you been, lovely? Look, it's 2:38. I better be going. How dear, you vacationing, darling? You just dropped over here to tell us you're on holiday whilst we are over here living our sad little lives. We've had quite a conversation today, okay? We have moved in all sorts of places. We have had cake and therapy. And then we've made focaccia that I will be baking later. I am covered in cake crumbs. People, it's been a nice day coming back and seeing you, okay? Can we all say hallelujah and amen and say goodbye for now? And I'll be back tomorrow, same time. We'll be baking though. Tomorrow we will be baking. Oh, Emmy, come back. Come back and catch up with us some more. We love you here, okay? We hope you feel way better. And yeah, stay grounded and love your family. Look on the brighter side. And hopefully you'll find a job soon. Tabitha, my love, rest up and look after yourself. Lollipop, hugs to you. Tatiana, you keep being the good boss you are. And the rest of you, all of you who joined us today, you have added a lot in here for us. Love you so much. Thank you for indulging me. I'll see you same time tomorrow. Keep baking.